What's going on, guys? My name's Tom Quinn, resident dungeon master here at Modern Myth, and welcome back to another episode of Myth Makers, the place where we're highlighting independent TTRPG creators and the awesome things that they're making. We got 3 brand new books for you today, so let's jump right in with the first one, Dungeons with Plumbing by D&D with Plumbing. In the 5th edition space where supplements can sometimes reach to great fantastical heights to find relevance, Dungeons with Plumbing takes a completely different tact by asking us, the reader, what can we learn about our dungeons by thinking more pragmatically about those spaces, by treating those spaces as lived-in, functional habitats? This pragmatic approach takes us through deep considerations of a dungeon's origin, be it naturally formed or a man-made or monster excavation. Tying into that are sections regarding dungeon ecosystems, the individuals that call this place home, the predators, the prey, and the scavengers that make up the flora and fauna of these underground dwellings. This unapologetic pragmatism pulls at the threads that are sometimes hand-waved away by dungeon masters to questions like what engineering considerations went into lighting the space, providing ventilation for the oxygen-breathing inhabitants, and as the title suggests, where the heck do the denizens of this place go to the bathroom? The answers of which might surprise readers with how potent a catalyst for creativity they are. The book rounds out with an examination of how these prior elements serve to shape the social norms in these underground spaces, whether a bustling dungeon metropolis or the cold dead husk of an age forgotten. The illustrations serve to reinforce the interesting and sometimes tongue-in-cheek nature of this publication, and the linear layout makes it as appetizing a straight read-through as it is a reference guide. If you subscribe to the idea that better dungeon design can be achieved through grounding, Dungeons with Plumbing has got your name on it. Next up, we've got The Tower of Cinder from Remedy for Malady, a really cool high-level adventure for the OSR. A mysterious tower swallowed into the bowels of the earth stands at the center of the ashen wastes, the tortured souls of the titans sworn to protect her still haunting this subterranean ruin. There is a ton of content packed into these 10 pages, both the scaffolding for running the adventure itself and the inspired, beautiful illustrations interwoven throughout make this a quick and enjoyable read. While the adventure itself is well conceived and provides you everything you need to run it, it's also written loosely enough that it would integrate easily into a broader campaign. In true OSR fashion, the environment has been crafted to allow for exciting exploration opportunities, while the encounter tables and ancient pyromancies fit well within the lore of the adventure. The ashen wastes, the 4 floors of the tower, and the battlements that sit atop it all serve as a backdrop for one hell of a final boss battle. If you've got a high-level OSR party who loves unlocking mysteries and testing their mettle against some truly devastating foes, this one is likely for you. Last up on our list is The Modern Adventurer's Guide to Guns and Gear by the Scrying Dutchman. This is an awesome 5th edition supplement for anyone interested in bringing firearms and gunplay into their campaign. As the name suggests, this is a broadly contemporary look at firearms and their application in the TTRPG space. And as one might expect, there is a massive arsenal of weapons and gear inside these pages. This book really caught me off guard with the breadth of content that it offers relative to firearms in the 5th edition landscape, supplying 2 brand new gunplay-related subclasses for each of the 12 core classes. Sorry, Artificer, no love this time. 20 gritty contemporary backgrounds, 32 unique skills, and 27 new spells. Delivers well above and beyond my expectations of new firearms-based equipment lists. Speaking of equipment lists, this book is loaded, no pun intended, an unbelievable assortment of firearms, attachments, mods, and ammo, each with their own mechanical properties, allow you to customize a loadout that feels unique to your character. The weapons and modifications supplied add just enough crunch to allow firearms to feel unique in the 5th edition space, while still keeping them lean enough to allow combat to play out at a frenetic pace. The attention to detail given to the firearms within speaks to both the real-world understanding of firearms that the Scrying Dutchman has, as well as his understanding of what makes combat enjoyable in the 5th edition space. With so many meaningful implications packed into ammunition alone, it's not out of the question to think that the success or failure of a given mission might just come down to whether or not you brought those shotgun shells loaded with rock salt. Add to this variable rates of malfunction and misfire based on weapon type, and a deep, expanded rule set for gunplay and cover, and you can almost hear the sizzle of hot lead streaking across your 5th edition table. This book rounds out with its own form of bestiary, mostly utilized to represent the tropes of military and criminal organizations, and while its robust robust enough that you may not need to homebrew up your own gun-toting baddies. Many of them would serve as great jumping off points if you're in the habit of doing that. As this is a Kickstarter project right now, I've only gotten my hands on a rough draft of this book, but what I've seen so far is very encouraging by way of layout and design, exciting illustrations that speak to the criminal chic tone that runs throughout this book. If you're looking to introduce gunplay into your fantasy settings, thinking of kicking off a contemporary campaign in the seedy underbelly of the modern cityscape, or even looking for a great firearms foundation for that sci-fi campaign, head on over to Kickstarter and pull that trigger. That's it for this time, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Links for all of these products along with their creators will be down in the description, so check those out. Go on over, grab them up, tell them Modern Myth sent you. But before you do, we hugely appreciate those likes, those comments, those subscribes. Any of those shares out on social media really helps the channel grow. We really appreciate all the support. Thank you so much for joining me this time on Mythmakers. Until next time, the world is yours.